Welcome back to another episode with your girl, Nina Marie. I'm your unity in the community kind of chick. And happy Tuesday out here on this Tenacious Tuesday. Every Tuesday is a Tenacious Tuesday for me. So, welcome back to another episode again with your girl Nina Marie out here on this Tenacious Tuesday. I am super excited to be with you all on this evening, and I hope that you all are coming out of an amazing weekend and that your week is off to a great start. So, thank you for joining me, and I am excited about today's show. If you have journeyed with me at all throughout this time, you know that I have been leading this podcast, this show, my time with you all on just the foundational things of what Life Talks is all about. And so you ask, for my new listeners out there, what is Life Talks? Who is this girl with these white glasses on? You know, you never know how my hair is going to be. Let me just say that now, because when you see me next week, it's going to be something somewhat different, right? But what is Life Talks? Well, Life Talks is a show for men and women, boys and girls. There is no exception, if you will. But Life Talks is about what is really important to me. And I'll be 45 this year, and I'm very proud about that. Lord willing, if I celebrate this birthday in May, I will. I'll be 45. And these pillars and how I govern my life has been based on what I have been giving and contributing to you all during this time in this show. And so I kicked off with my 5 pillars. And as I mentioned, these pillars are for men, women, boys, girls. Light Talks is about whosoever will. It's not just for him, just for her, or oftentimes men will even think, oh, this must be a ladies thing because, it's a woman talking. No, this is for whosoever will. There is no exception to who it is that I'm talking to out here. I'm talking to everyone. And I believe that if you have youth and young adults, they would be able to benefit from this program as well. Because in this show, in Life Talks, we discuss important factors and the important pillars that has really governed and set me up for life that I operate in, that I move and groove in, has been my faith, my family, my fitness, my finances, and then a whole lot of fun. And so today, we get to kick off with our pillar, which is fun. A whole lot of fun at that. Pillar 5. And what is fun? That is a unbelievable, or should I just say, that definition for everybody is different. Some people don't even believe in having fun. They just go through life. You never see a smile on their face. There is no excitement to them. They're very rigid. So some people don't even know the definition of fun, while others don't know or have experienced fun because of maybe trauma, life circumstances, and situations that has set them up that they cannot, unfortunately, see the sunny side of the day. They always look at the glass half empty versus it's half full. They look at the fact that it's raining outside and all hell has breaking loose versus looking at the fact that at least they're on this side of the dirt being able to see a day. So fun for everybody looks completely different. And I'm not here to gauge or to impress upon you, what my viewpoints are. I'm just sharing with you how I live and how I govern my life. So Life Talks is for everybody. Because when you think about it, right? You have everything that you need within all 5 of those pillars. Through your faith, that should be first and foremost. Now, that's something that I am going to suggest. Like nowadays, y'all, so much is going on, so much heartache is happening. People are really losing it out here that I cannot imagine living life without understanding that it's so much bigger than me, without understanding that there's a higher power than who Nina Marie is. Okay. So my faith is very important to me. And as I shared that on the first discussion, when we started discussing my non-negotiables, if you will, these pillars that has governed my life. So faith is something that everybody can use a little bit more of. And then of course you got your family. Family doesn't always entail blood. It could be the stranger on the street. Okay. It simply has everything to do with the relationships and the loyalty that lies within, that gives a individual the accolades or give the individual that stamp of approval needed to say that this is family. Okay. So you got your faith, you got your family, you got your fitness. Shouts out to my girl Sweat with Jess. That is definitely something that I have enjoyed to the utmost. Being able to know that health is wealth. And so shouts out to Sweat with Jess. If you are anywhere in the Shreveport, Louisiana area, you definitely want to get to Sweat with Jess. It is a ratchet size class and it is super duper powerful and I absolutely love it. And then you also have your finances. Now, your finances, if you missed last week's show, y'all, let me tell you, you missed an unbelievable show because I was able to really talk about the fact that we have to be able to pour into something bigger than us. And a lot of times people say, well, you don't need all that money. I don't need all that money. Well, you're right. You might not. They might not. He might not. But the people in your communities might. Okay. I don't know. But where I believe that we as a community, that we even as a culture has failed at is the fact that we have not properly planned for the future. Okay. So if that's you, you got to make sure that you're doing any and everything possible to make sure that you are leaving. The book I read from say that a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's 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 children. Okay. So finances. And then, as I mentioned today, the whole fun side of life. So let's talk about that for a minute because people are really struggling these days. Now, before we even got into a pandemic, I shared a little bit about my story throughout this time. And if you have not followed my journey, make sure you go back, catch some of the replays, because it's definitely going to bring you some clarity and some understanding on who Nina Marie is. And if that's not good enough, you got to make sure you go to your girl's social media accounts. Okay. You can find me on Facebook at Nina Marie. You can find me on TikTok at Real Nina Marie, or you can find me on IG at Real_Nina Marie. Make sure you take a moment, go to my social media accounts, make sure you do all the things that you need to do because your girl is out here and I'm sharing with you life circumstances and situations, and it may not even be for you, but it may be for somebody else that you know. So about 8 years ago, I would say, All I knew, and I shared this along the side of my faith, as well as I've shared this a couple of times and I think about it, but all I knew before 8 years ago was the word of God. Like that was all of the personal development that I knew, which was really, if you don't know no other personal development, that is a great personal development to know. Okay. So all I knew was the word of God until I began to explore the world of business. And I started sitting up under unbelievable mentors that along the way, they began to speak things over my life. And I was thinking to myself, like, everybody cannot be saying the same thing. It cannot be the same thing that everybody is saying when every room is saying you need 7 streams of income. Well, the same way that I was listening to the number of streams of income that individuals needed, I was also very clear through these leadership groups, through my personal development, I began to really understand the importance of self-care. Now, don't get it twisted. If you know anything about your girl, every time and any time I'm around, it's going to be a whole party. It's going to be a celebration. I love to have fun. Ever since I was a little girl, I've always loved to have fun. And I can remember party after party that I threw. I remember my 13th birthday party. I can't tell y'all what the theme was, but I remember my 13th birthday party, baby. But I'm just sharing with you throughout my life, I've always understood the importance of fun and having fun. Now, it wasn't always the best type of fun, and thank God for growth and maturity, but it was still the type of fun that I understood was very important for the task. Okay. So as I began to grow up and I began to understand that life was it was more to life than just working and paying bills and I mean and stress and everything that so many people dread on a daily basis. When I began to understand the importance of my fun being what we know today as self-care, that let me further know, if you understand what I mean, right? That let me know that I was on the right path. That what I understood was fun then was right up the alley in which I was going, and I didn't even know it at the time. I was very clear that anytime and anywhere that I was, it was going to be very important to me that we not only have fun and enjoyed the atmosphere, but that those around us was going to have to be fun and enjoy the atmosphere as well. So I really began to tap into self-care, i.e., a whole lot of fun. Okay. And I began to understand that fun was not something that you just hope to do. Fun wasn't just something that maybe one day you get to schedule it in. Fun should have been a non-negotiable, something that was a required part of my life on a weekly basis, if not daily. So it started very slow, y'all. I didn't know the concept of this. And oftentimes, depending on who you with and where you at, people will make you feel like, you too easy going, or the important things in life is not really important to you because of the fact that maybe you don't choose to live or move in life based on stress, and that you're not pressed, right? About the day-to-day operations of what life has to offer. So self-care became very important to me, and it did. It started slow because I didn't know I was after I went through my journey and my divorce, I was a mom picking up the pieces back to my life again. And I started slow with just a bubble bath. I would do a bubble bath every week, and you listening to some of my music. Let y'all hear, right? You would hear my music, and I would get in that bathtub, and the kids knew when I locked that door, okay, and I was able to have my glass of wine. Don't knock on this door. Mama was taking some time for mama. So it started as small and simple as a bubble bath. But it wasn't long that I really understood the importance of how much that meant to me, how much I needed it, how much that, as busy as life was, I deserved to be able to stop and care for me. And as women, if I can talk to my sisters for a minute, right? As women, we tend to do and care for everybody else but ourselves, right? That's what we've always done. We've chosen to care for everybody, to be there for everybody, but then we'll look up at ourselves and wonder why we need some replenishing. Well, that's because we as a woman specifically have been trained, have been taught to do everything for everybody else out here, but then you wondering, like I say, why you sitting up here stuck? Why you over here stressed and pressed? Why you ready to pull out every ounce of strand of hair that you got? While all of these addictions is coming up on your back. Like whatever it was, we have always as women cared for everybody. But when I began to understand the importance of caring for this one right here, loving on this one right here, making sure that if one nobody else right and taken care of, this one right here was going to be taken care of, that became a whole game changer for me. I was extremely sold to the highest bidder at that point on the importance of self-care. So it then grew to my game of pool. Oh, yeah, baby. Your girl over here plays some pool with my own pool stick, okay? Now, I'm not no expert or no pro yet. You see, I said yet, because I plan on being in Vegas one day to win some chump change on the pool table. See, I'm not a gambler, so I ain't interested in gambling. But I want to be in Vegas so I can go and play pool. So I started playing pool, and the crazy part to that is that I played pool for the first time in my early 20s. Now, mind you, I just started talking about or even understanding, as I mentioned, what self-care was 8 years ago and the importance of it. I've always known to have fun, but I didn't know that this was something that was therapeutic. And I definitely didn't know that this was something that we should insist on being in our regularly programmed schedule. Okay. So I played pool early on in my early 20s. And it wasn't until so I picked up pool again about 14 years ago. And I would play occasionally just because I enjoyed the sport, but I definitely didn't know that it was self-care. This was again a part of my fun that I enjoyed doing that was now used as an opportunity for me to be able to do some self-care. So I began to play pool. And pool was indeed something very therapeutic for me. And most of the time, I was hoping to go somewhere to a table that nobody was on so I can play my games by myself. And why? Because I wanted to play against myself. I'm going to Vegas one day, right? So it was just a double opportunity for me to be able to play this game. So pool became a very important part of my self-care until about 10 years ago now, when my parents relocated down south. And whereas pool was like, okay, I've worked a long week. I don't want to just sit at home. I don't really know nobody in this Louisiana area at the time. So I didn't have my cousin in them house I could just go and chill at, or my road dogs. I got some great relationships now, but being a new person, a foreigner in the land, I didn't have a clue what I was going to be doing. And so, y'all, that's always, I love in my home office. It's so funny because I got my clock. It's a Motown clock, y'all. I just love it. Again, this is a part of self-care because I find myself just throughout my day, if I'm working from home, self-care is something as simple as getting up and dancing. And so my clock plays these unbelievable Motown hits that's so funny on the hour. And some, I think it's like 3, not at night, because of course it doesn't do it in the AM side, but at 9 a.m., 3 p.m., 6 p.m., and I think again 9 p.m., it does an extended version of it. So self-care is could be nothing more than dancing, right? Being able to get up and move around for some of us that work from home or find ourselves not as active as we used to be. So self-care can be as simple as dancing, but I had to throw that in there in case you wonder why or where that extra noise was coming from. So as I mentioned, 10 years ago, I slowed down playing pool because my parents had relocated here. And so I was now able to be like, oh, I done had a busy week. I don't want to just go home and chill, so I can go over and watch a movie with mom, or I can go over and we're going to go to dinner, or me and dad is going to do this, like all self-care. And I really understood the importance of not only what that meant for me, but how self-care has played a major part in my children's lives as well. So we have to even understand that most, and again, it's the teacher in me. I was gonna say, somebody say most, right? Most people don't understand the importance of self-care. And even if they do, oftentimes the people around them don't. And it becomes a whole situation when it's very clear, especially if you Google it. We Google everything else. It's very clear how important self-care is. Also, if you know anything about me, you know how important my relationships are to me. And that's relationships across the board, your significant other, children, co-workers, friends, foes. Like, self-care is important in all of the relationships in which you're connected to as well. And I want to spend a second on that to talk to my couples as I conclude my time with you all today. I want to talk to my couples because I had to look at where I was on my time, y'all. I have been waiting on this Light Talks special edition, y'all. It's coming soon. And this particular show is going to specifically focus on relationships, as meaning your significant other. Okay. If you know me, like I said, I do relationships. That's just what I do. I don't care if it's with my dog, cats. I do relationships. And I always feel like, even especially with those that are your immediate family, like I said, your significant other, your children, why have a good relationship when you can have a great one, right? And so a lot of times you look up and you done went to this gorgeous wedding that Susie and John just had, or Becky and Paul, whatever. And before you know it, within the next 3 months, 3 years, 30 years, even at times, people land in divorce court. And I can raise my hand, if not both, right? But, and often you'll hear people say, especially if you ask what happened, you'll hear people say, well, we just grew apart. Life happened and, we just grew apart. I can't speak for everybody else, but to me, that's one of the lamest excuses that anybody can give anybody. Because, and this is what I say, or they just say, oh, we just grew apart. No, you just didn't intentionally grow together. That's all that is, i.e., self-care. One thing I know, because I have friends in all different states, countries, nationalities, and one thing I can say about my Caucasian, my white brothers and sisters, is that they're not perfect, because nobody is, right? But one thing I really admire, and they go through just as much as divorce as any other culture, so please hear my heart here. But one thing I can honestly say that I admire about them is that they take their marriages and relationships serious and to heart. Oh, baby, if you don't believe me, ask somebody, right? You better not let Aunt Susie's 70th birthday party be on their regular scheduled date night, honey. Cause the party got to be set at a certain time so that Sally and John can rather have a date night before the celebration, or the celebration is late enough that they can have it, or after. You know what I'm saying, okay? Relationships even require self-care. And that is so near and dear to my heart, because I see it all the time in my profession, where in my family's lives, in my friends' lives, like, relationships even require self-care. So not just the self-care for your own self, which it should always be a number one priority, whether you're single or not. You know what I'm saying? Trust me. I was on my way to lunch today and I couldn't get there because I'm heading to Sunnyside, Florida. This week, shouts out to NAA, the National After School Conference 2023. Yours truly, your girl, is going to be one of the speakers, and I am super excited to be out there in Florida. So, Wisdom said on the financial side, no, because you don't know what you want to do out in Florida, what you're going to see that you want to buy. So don't spend no money, okay? So I was like, yes, sir. But even for single women and men, self-care is important. But guess what? It's just as important, if not more important, in your relationships as well. Specifically, your significant other. And what happens, y'all, is that we get off in these relationships and we go through the goo-goo and gaga phase and stage. And then when that honeymoon wear off, whether you're married or not, you know what I'm talking about. When that honeymoon time wears off, then you wonder who it was that you just done fell in love with, because you did, or him or her did not intentionally invest in one another through the things within the self-care arena that they both find themselves enjoying. So that's another show for another day. But that's so important to me. And I'm going to specifically, I was telling the Social Goats team that this is so important to me to be able to do this session with the relationship side, because I feel like there's nobody talking about it today. Nobody is talking about the importance of self-care within relationships, single or married. If you got a significant other, a boo, whether y'all been together a month, y'all been together 6 months, or y'all been together 6 years, each day should be something of importance to you all. And I believe in regularly scheduled things within the calendar, not just something that we hope we get around to. Because you'll mess around and be into reintroducing your family to somebody else playing them type of games, because it doesn't just happen like that. We want all these great relationships and we want all this, we want an amazing marriage without being willing to put in the work that's required to do that. But again, that's a different show for another day. Make sure you follow your girl on social media so that you can stay in the loop when that transpires. Okay. I want to make sure that you have that information up front. But self-care, very important. Make that a part of your 2023 regimen. Make it a non-negotiable. Insist that no matter what, you are going to care for you. No matter what, you are going to care for your significant other. No matter what, right? You are going to care for and specifically invest within the self-care arena. It could be just going to the bowling alley, going for a walk. That's self-care. All of that self-care. I wish y'all can see my sign right here that talks about self-care. That's on my wall. As soon as you walk through my door, it's on the wall. Self-care. And it gives me a list of what I can choose from. So I hope that today's show, out of my 5 pillars, and as I discussed, the fun side of it, self-care, go back to some of the things that you used to love to do. I still love to roller skate. I'm older now, so me getting on roller coasters and stuff may not be as wise. I didn't the last time I was at the park because I just wasn't sure about myself in that arena. But my self-care has shifted as it should as you get older. So my challenge to you, outside of follow me on my social media platforms, you can go to Facebook under Nina Marie, Instagram under real_Nina Marie, and of course on TikTok, real Nina Marie. You can make sure that you follow me. My first challenge is to go and follow me because there is some amazing stuff popping. I launched this family and friends cruise. I already spoke to my listeners about that. Some of you all have already jumped in the app to make sure that you stay in the loop with the scoop pertaining to this cruise that's going to be October 12th through the 16th out of the New Orleans, baby, as they say, out of the NO area. And it is a family and friends cruise, my inaugural annual cruise. And I'm super excited for what we're going to be doing. Lots of fun on there. I'm a spades girl, so we're going to have a spades and domino tournament. I'm telling y'all, it's getting ready to be off the chain. And so I'm excited about that. If you are interested in joining me, make sure you text the number 81010, text 81010, and you can put the @yes, let's go in that text log, and you'll get in to get all the information you need for that. Prices are starting as low as $350 per person. I said it. Your girl is a travel agent too, okay? I'm telling y'all, it's all about the Benjamins, baby. I believe in multiple streams of income. So as I began traveling the world, I knew that I wanted to be on this side of the travel game because somebody got to taste the drinks to make sure that they're pretty good. Somebody got to make sure that that water is still wet and the sand is still just as soft as you left it, okay? So yes, I am super excited about the inaugural family and friends cruise that your girl is hosting in October. So if you're interested in that cruise, you can definitely text 81010, the @ yes, let's go with an SYESLETSGO. Or you can follow me on my social media platforms where you will get all of the above information. And I am just so grateful that you have chosen to be with me tonight. And I hope that there was something said that has encouraged you to go out there and do something for you. That's my challenge to you. Go to my social media platforms, make sure you following me, but even bigger than that, if you never follow me and never tune in again, make sure that you are caring for you this year. Put that in your regimen and you'll be glad that you did. Thank you guys so much. I am signing out because I got some things to do, some people to see, and some places to go. I will see y'all, Lord willing, next week in the sunny side of Florida. I thought it was going to be this week, but it's next week. I had my weeks because I was traveling last week too. But I will see you all, Lord willing, same place, same time, same station, on the beaches of the world, at least close to it, in the sunny state of Florida, y'all. Have an amazing week on purpose, and make sure you go out there and care for you. Peace.